Hello again, Dr. Angelika Christie here. And the show that I have every week and that you are watching right now is Your Radiant Life After 45, right here on the global platform of Win-Win Women. So, in the last episode, I shared with you about energy and what energy is. And it was really triggered or stimulated by an article in the New York Times that I read about the first successful attempt of a nuclear fusion within a container, even though that container was as big as a sports stadium. But if I found it fascinating, and even though it may take decades until it can be used commercially, nuclear fusion to have laser beams create. Wow. I explained the whole thing in the last episode, so maybe you want to go there and watch it again. And if you haven't watched it yet, watch it for the first time. I think it's really, really interesting because it is what the future holds for us that will eventually swap out and eliminate all of the dirty energy that we have today, coal, even gas, and definitely fossil fuel oil, So this is something that happens in the future, and unfortunately, I will probably not be able to see it. I will not be alive to see it because it takes decades, many decades, until this can be used commercially. And after all, we are dealing with a very powerful energy here. This is much more powerful than a nuclear power plant, the ones we have now, which use uranium, Nuclear fusion is incredibly powerful and still impossible to harness for our electricity needs and power needs and fuels. Okay, so coming back to our body, which is really where this started, and this is the second part of what is energy. Coming back to our body and the energy, the electricity it produces every moment of our lives. Can you now see how amazing our body is in generating this energy? As I said, it's really like you have the sun within you. You actually have a miniature sun within you. Well, not really like a ball of energy within your body, but the energy resides within every cell of your physical body and is constantly regenerated by many conditions. And one of them that I want to talk about today is by the food that that you eat. Excuse me. Food. I have celery juice here, which is live food. We are going to talk about what is dead food and live food in a moment. Nice and fresh. So I said this for decades as a naturopathic doctor and a nutritionist that I am as well. I have a certificate in that. My nutritional motto has been from the beginning, well, that's over 30 years now, that dead food robs your body of energy. I say that again, dead food robs your body of energy. So what is dead food, you might ask? Dead food is everything that you eat that's packaged, that's canned, that's overcooked, that's baked or grilled until no life is left in the food. For example, my husband likes his steaks extremely well done. Well, there is very little nutrition left in a piece of steak after it's extremely well done. Of course, everything is good and live when it's raw, but we don't eat raw meat, right? Well, sometimes we eat it. Tartar is raw meat, and there are other things that we eat raw. So that's the most original form. And of course, that's life. It doesn't move anymore, but it's life. The nutritional energy is a life energy within it. So what is live food? It's really everything that has its enzymes still intact. And even within our body, when we don't have enzymes in our body anymore, that's when death has arrived. Enzymes are building blocks of life. So we are talking about fresh produce here, fresh vegetables, or whatever you find as wild vegetables and wild fruits in nature. Fruits and vegetables that are unaltered, and also unaltered grains. Well, you may laugh, but my rule of thumb has always been, if God or nature didn't make it, don't eat it. Yes, if God didn't make it, don't eat it. There are some exceptions, of course. For example, with dried food. But even with dried food, you must look out for additives. So another rule of thumb for that situation is, if you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. When you look on packaged food, what ingredients it has, if there are ingredients listed in there that you can't pronounce, don't eat it. It's a chemical. It's probably something that your body does not know how to handle. And too many of our foods have been and still are treated with chemicals. Well, actually, I read this somewhere, I don't know the exact number, but there are thousands of chemicals produced, not only produced, but invented, new ones, every day or every week. I don't know exactly what, but there are. The chemicals in our world have just reached such a high level, and it's rising. More is coming there. And those chemicals and our natural food do not mix and shouldn't mix. Okay? Yeah, so our packaged food and also fresh food is usually treated with some kind of chemicals, unless it's organic. And even there, you cannot be absolutely sure. I say you cannot be sure unless you grow it yourself in your backyard. So they are still treated with chemicals and have additives like that improves the taste, supposedly improves the taste. If you have a fruit or a vegetable that has had the opportunity or the chance to ripe in a good soil, and the sun was shining on it and clean water, the taste would be amazing. You cannot really improve on that taste. But still, there are so many additives that will improve taste. Actually, there are chemicals that make you addicted to that particular taste. And it's a commercial thing. It's manipulation of the company that wants you to buy more of that food. Also, additives for color enhancement and additives that increase shelf life, okay, that our bodies really can't deal with. Those chemicals overburden our organs and our tissue and our lymph system, leading to so many of today's degenerative diseases that didn't exist hundreds of years ago, not even 100 years ago. Our bodies were not created in the 20th century or the 21st century, but millions of years ago. Our bodies were created millions of years ago, and we often forget this fact. If our bodies were not so forgiving and adaptable, we would not survive today's junk food onslaught and chemical overload and environmental pollutants. But the amazing wisdom of our body systems keeps junk away from our organs for as long as possible. How does the wisdom of our body do that? It embeds, it stores it into the fat layers, where it rests and sits. By the way, this is why when you are overweight and you want to lose weight, you go on a regimen to lose the fat, right? You don't want to lose muscle mass because you need the muscles. And as we get older, we really need to make sure that we, even if we cannot increase a lot of muscle, we need to make sure that we don't lose too much muscle mass. Okay, so we need to train our bodies, not just our legs and our arms, but the whole system, because our skeleton, the tendons, everything is connected, and it needs to be, and the whole autonomic nervous system, all of your nerves are connected to that. So your entire body needs to be fit, and the muscle tissues need to be strong and intact. Okay, so when you are overweight and you go, you want to lose that body fat, your body will have to go through a healing crisis, because when it releases the fat, it also releases the toxins that that then accumulate. The toxins. What are the toxins? Of course, the accumulated chemicals and everything that your body sees as an invader or as an enemy or as unwanted or toxic. It stores away from your organs because it wants to keep you alive. Yes, while viri and bacteria and so many pathogens actually want to kill you. Yes. It's amazing. There is, I read something that was so interesting about the virus. Usually, of course, we all know about the COVID virus and the influenza virus, and so those kind of viruses or viri want to kill its host. It just wants to get enough time to replicate, and then it jumps on another host. But there is another virus that is so vicious. It's the Epstein-Barr, and there are other viri. And I just read this in a book that was so. I'm going to read a little bit about this for you. That actually hide in your system, in your body. Almost impossible to get rid of. For example, the shingle virus, right? The shingle virus, you don't really get rid of it. It hides in your body, and then it gets stimulated if your immune system is not strong enough by something. For example, when I had COVID and I had it badly, it also stimulated the virus that I didn't know I had in my body, which comes from the chickenpox, right? When you had the chickenpox, then that virus stays in your body after you heal all of that. And it comes out as, usually when you get older, sometimes when even young people get it, it comes out as the shingles. And I had the shingles 3 times. I thought, okay, I got the shingles, it got triggered by COVID, and I went through it, and now it's gone. So I didn't even think about getting the shingle vaccination. And then after I got the vaccination for COVID, my first shot, the shingles was activated again, and I had shingles again. And of course, I had to wait until that was done to get my second booster, not booster shot, my second shot, because then you are fully vaccinated. And even though I didn't want this, but I needed it because I live on a small island in the Bahamas, and otherwise I couldn't travel, right? It was required. I had to be vaccinated twice. So the second time I got vaccinated, I got very ill again. And the shingles got activated a third time. Crazy, right? But I, in my own body, I got to experience that a certain viri live in there. They don't want to kill you. They want to continuously give you a feed on you and give you certain symptoms, and because they want to stay alive as long as you stay alive. Okay. Anyway, that was a little bit on the tensions here. But this is why when you want to lose your body fat, you go through a healing crisis, because when you release the fat, it releases the toxins that have accumulated and the chemicals that have been stored and the viri and all of this within layers of fat, and they are now released. And they have to go through your liver, through your kidneys, and even through your skin. And that's why sometimes the detox brings skin eruptions. So you would feel fatigued at best, and then maybe get some outbreaks, headache, nausea, and many other symptoms that are due to the release of toxins that have been stored in your fat layers. I just have bought an amazing book that I actually want to take a little time to read from the remaining time that we have together today. And this book is by Anthony William, who is a medical medium. I had to read a little bit about what a medical medium is, but I don't want to use our time here to do that. Maybe you'll go to find that out yourself. And I've actually bought two books. One is called The Brain Saver, and the other one that goes with it. And my God, these books are heavy. They are thick, and very, very heavy. And the other book is called Brain Saver, like the first one, but Brain Saver Protocols, which means how to cleanse your body from, all of the bad stuff. And it gives you some recipes, and it's good for neurological, autoimmune, and mental health. But your autoimmune system is really what keeps you healthy, because if you don't have that, then you will get sick a lot. Okay, so we just talked a little bit about the healing process, right? And the healing process is a process where toxins are released in the body. So in the chapter 1 of this book here, it says the healing process, and I want to read a little bit about it. But before I do this, I just want to show you, you may want to get this book because it's really incredible. It has all of these recipes of amazing live food, and what you when you eat it, what you can eat, and you will be healthy and have a lot of energy and live long. And this book is full of amazing ways to do this. Yummy stuff. A lot of things you can do yourself. A lot of things you can do yourself. Lots of recipes. So this is, I just gave you a little taste of that. But here is the healing process. Let me just see how much time we have. Okay, we still have over 10 minutes. Okay, so I want to read this, so I will not look into your beautiful faces a lot. So everyone here, it says everyone is different. Of course, we know this. Not in the way we normally think. While our souls are different, our physical bodies as humans are meant to function pretty much in the same way. We eat food, we drink water, we urinate and defecate, our hearts beat and our blood pumps. We walk on our feet. We see with our eyes. We hear with our ears. Our stomachs are meant to digest until something goes wrong, and we can't. We can't walk. We can't talk. We can't hear. We can't see. Our blood gets clogged, or our heart doesn't beat right. Different internal problems with our physical bodies can create endless differences. Our injuries, pathogens, stresses, metals, traumas, relationships, environmental surroundings, resources, support, pharmaceuticals, experience, deficiencies, amounts of blood drawn, number of flus we had, how many exposures we came into the world with. All these make us different. And our differences make our healing processes and their timelines different. If you're reading this book, you most likely have a health problem. Well, don't we all have health problems? I mean, I don't know anybody in my family, and we are a healthy family, and I am healthy, but we still have health issues, right? I mean, or can you say you have so much energy, you never get sick, and just everything is super, optimized health? Can we have it? We can get pretty close. A health problem that maybe consistent for life, while healing may be less consistent. Maybe you have a serious condition, one that interferes with your life in some shape or form. In this book's companion titled Brain Saver, you can discover how you got sick to begin with, and what's physically inside you that's interfering with your ability to heal. In both Brain Saver and this book, you can find out what to avoid and what tools to use to get your life back. Because what is your life if you're not healthy? Health is your number one, treasure, actually. I cannot even find a stronger word. It is the most precious thing you have, your health. If you don't have your health, you have nothing. And your healing timeline will never be exactly the same to someone else's, because someone else has a different compilation of problems within their body that you might have. If you're coming into this healing information with the intention of dabbling, you're welcome. But anyway, this is something where he talks about supplements, a full protocol of supplements. The clean eating, what to eat, to avoid, and something that I did not know of. And there are many incredible health providers and people that are very successful teachers in their health regimens that he does not agree with. And for example, is avoid eggs, dairy, and vinegar. Avoid eggs, dairy, and vinegar, just out of the start. Well, I love eggs, and I used to eat lots of eggs. And when you're somebody who started a keto diet, you probably will. Or if you are, if you want to reduce your carbs and want to increase your animal proteins, egg is the perfect food, right? But he says that eggs are really bad for you because that's where the virus hides. And dairy and vinegar. Haven't found out about the vinegar yet. Someone who has a very serious condition may even consider that you may need to avoid much, much more. Okay. Be your own detective, he says. Many people who first embark on this book and the protocols find immediate relief from 1 to 10 symptoms or more. Isn't that a reason to buy this book? I mean, I bought it, of course. But you have to give yourself time to heal. But you can also be your own detective if you know what to look for, right? If you don't know what to look for, how can you find what it is that that creates your symptom? But he says complete healing doesn't happen right away. Everybody is on a different time clock. Plus, there are interruptions. No one can do everything perfectly without skipping a beat. Well, don't we know that one? And as you go through the healing process, be your own detective. If you're not getting the results you want, ask yourself about the details of what you are doing. Investigate where you might be consuming trendy products, supplementations, foods and beverages that could be slowing down your healing process. Many people stick with old habits or fall back into old habits without even realizing it. And they're embarking on something new. As they embark on something new, they're continuing the old at the same time without even the awareness that the effects of those habits have a negative, leave a negative result. For example, what is your caffeine intake like? How much chocolates are you eating? Coffee drinks, matcha teas? Are you doing vinegars? Are you doing cheeses, yeast? How much ice cream? Do they have natural flavors? Maybe coconut ice cream, that should be okay. These habits could be tipping the scale in an unproductive direction when it comes to feeling better. If you're not dealing with a symptom or condition, these habits may not be enough to put you out of balance yet. On the other hand, if you're sick and you have a symptom or condition, your scale has already tipped. It's not balanced. How much further the scale tips into poor health depends on what unproductive things you may be doing that you don't even realize are unproductive. Because if you feel you need to hold on to your vices, know that this could slow down your healing. And if you're anxious to heal something and you don't want to put it behind you and you want to put it behind you as quickly as possible, the details are really going to matter a lot. But we all need to give ourselves time to heal. Because if you have multiple viral infections, and not just one, or if you have multiple varieties of toxic heavy metals or larger deposits of metals, it will be a much longer process. And when it comes to heavy metals, I was surprised because I eat really healthy. But then when I had my blood tested and there was and my urine as well, because you can do urine tests for blood or both tests to detect any heavy metal in your body. I was shocked that I did have quite a bit of heavy metal, aluminum, and I do not use a deodorant with aluminum in it. It's a natural one. There's no aluminum in there. But do you even know and realize how much is packaged in aluminum today? Even some supplements or some medication, maybe some pills or whatever, if you are on medication, they may have a seal of aluminum on it that you can punch and then take the tablet or the capsule out, right? So the aluminum seeps into whatever it touches. We come to the end of our time together today. Thank you for being here. And please make sure to share if you like what you heard, and also be here again next time with me. This is all for me today. Bye bye for now, and take good care of your health.